Hello tipsters and tricksters, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another vintage tips and tricks video. If you're new to my channel, my name is B Townsend and I am a vintage glamour enthusiast and musician. I make vintage beauty and style videos with a little bit of sustainability, veganism and lifestyle thrown in for good measure. If that sounds like your jam, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when my videos come out. Today, I wanted to make a video updating you on my corset wearing experience. If you haven't seen my first video all about breaking in my first waist training corset, I will link it up above. But what I wanted to do today is wear a corset for the full day to show you what it's like and also the process of lacing the corset up tighter during the day, because I was told by many of you guys, thank you, that if I put the corset on in the morning and just tighten it a bit so that it's comfortable, over the day I will find that I'm able to lace it up tighter. So I wanted to record and share that with you guys. So without waffling on any further, let's get into it.
What have you got if you haven't got
Just a few little reminders from my previous video if you haven't seen it or you may have forgotten. Always completely unlace the corset before trying to put it on. You don't want to be pulling or yanking anything. Always fasten at the front first and then start lacing at the back, starting from the top working to the middle and the bottom working to the middle. You want to make sure the corset is straight and that both sides are even. You don't want any V shapes or bowing. Make sure everything is in line with each other. As you see me checking here, and when I turn around, the back will be straight.
Okay, so I've had the corset on for about an hour now, so I'm gonna start tightening it just a little bit. Each time I tighten it, I just tighten it till it's still comfortable, so I can feel it like hugging me, but I don't feel like awkward or uncomfortable, like I can't move. So now the corset feels like pretty normal. I can't really feel it anymore, so it's time to tighten it up. Here we go. Always tighten it so that it's the same width all the way down, even if it means the top or bottom is a little bit loose, just so that you don't warp the corset. I often get comments saying that the corset is warped when I show you, but it's because I'm trying to like twist my body and show the camera. It should be straight. See, top and bottom, like all the way down is straight. I think I probably need to get into the mirror and straighten the actual corset itself up. So I believe it's twisted this way, but yes. It's gonna be lunchtime soon. I'll see how I go, whether I need to loosen it after lunch. I'll keep you guys posted with that. But for now, it's just, I tightened it up a lot more than I thought I would be able to. Like it very easily tightened up. I just like pulled the laces and they came together really quickly. I wasn't having to like force my body into the corset, which I do in the morning when I first start if I was to try and lace up to the same amount. I mean, I didn't do that to start with, I just did it nice and loosely, and then my body just kind of shifted into the shape of the corset over the last hour. So that's interesting. Let's see what happens after I eat. After lunch update, I ate a lot of food, guys, so I had to loosen the corset quite a lot. I was getting pain in my floating ribs, which is to be expected. It means that the corset is laced up too tight, and it was fine before I ate. I was completely fine. I had no pain and no discomfort, but once I ate, it was definitely uncomfortable and I loosened it quite a bit. But because I ate so much, it wasn't anywhere near enough. So I've actually loosened it more than what I put on this morning. Now, if it continues to hurt, I'm going to take it off altogether because there's no point hurting yourself. The point of corset training is not to hurt yourself. And discomfort in the ribs, and you can actually hurt and damage your ribs if you're doing something silly. To corset train, you don't have to hurt and damage yourself, but people do hurt themselves because they don't do it properly. That's what I've read anyway. I'm by no means an expert. From what I've read, if you do it properly, you won't hurt yourself. So because I was having pain in my ribs, I need to loosen it, and if that doesn't work, I need to take the corset off to let my blood pressure and stuff come down in case it's going up. So I've loosened it a lot, and I'm just going to lie down, which I would after lunch anyway, because I've eaten enough that I actually feel like really lethargic and kind of gross. But that's how I am. It's Sunday, I'm in France, I wanted to enjoy myself. Today was probably not the best day to do the corset video, but at the same time, if you're like me and you're someone who likes to indulge in food, but you want to wear corsets, this is something you might encounter. So I don't think this is necessarily an irrelevant video. You can either choose to not eat very much, or you can do what I've done and loosen your corset. If I leave it on, I will try loosening it later on, but I'm just going to see how I go for now. Again, this is not a criticism of the corset. The corset is not doing anything wrong. The corset was perfectly comfortable until I overate. So keep that in mind. If you're using a corset to lose weight, you should actually be eating less, not forcing your body that's eaten too much into a corset that's then too tight for it. Do what I say, not what I do, guys. This day is going interestingly. So as I said, I've loosened the corset. I'm really tired, so I'm going to be having a nap. Probably not the best thing to be doing in a corset. And I'm not going to lie, I think the kind of day I'm having is making wearing the corset really uncomfortable. I think if I was like out and about doing stuff, like if I was at my job or, you know, out and about walking around, I'd be way more comfortable, because standing up in the corset is really comfortable. It's lying down that's not comfortable. And now I'm going to be having a nap. But for the purpose of the video, I will leave it on. As I say, you may find yourself in these kinds of situations as well whilst trying to waist train. So I'm just giving you an honest review of what it was like to wear a corset on this day. I am by no means giving you the best example of how to wear a corset. One thing I wanted to say though is, like, you can see how much of a difference, like this is very loose at the moment. I can see at the back, but I've opened it a lot. And it still gives me plenty of shape. Corsets, even though they are cinching your waist in, are also giving the illusion of the shape. So, you know, if you're not actually managing to close the corset all the way, don't stress. Like, you know, obviously that's the end goal of the waist training, but it doesn't have to be the end goal on that particular day. I think a corset can still do wonderful things without you closing it all the way. And that's all I'm trying to say. Okay, so I've had a little nap, feeling somewhat better. I realised I also have to do some work that I forgot about. But I've laced myself back up again and just left myself a little bit more space at the top end for my ribs. And I won't eat such a big meal this evening. Not particularly for the corset, but just because I ate too much lunch. But yeah, let's see how the rest of this day goes. I just wanted to jump in and quickly just say, remember that the corset I'm wearing was one that I already broke in, which is what my other video was about. So I'm not just like going straight into wearing this all day without having already seasoned the corset and gotten my body used to wearing it. I also wear the corset quite regularly for photo shoots and things, so please keep that in mind. Never just go straight into trying to tight lace yourself into a corset if you've never worn one before. And if this is a new corset to you that you haven't seasoned, you definitely need to take this step later once you're used to wearing the corset. The purpose of this video was to show you guys what it's like to wear a corset for the whole day, not to show you what it's like to wear a corset for the first time. So please remember that. Do your research, understand what it means to wear a corset and how to wear it safely and correctly. This corset that I'm wearing is from Glamorous Corset. They have information all over their website about how to correctly season, how to correctly wear, when to tighten, etc. And there's also tons and tons of blogs and informational videos on the internet about how to correctly wear a corset for the best way for your health, to get the best results and to not damage the corset as well. Because if you wear it incorrectly, you will ruin your corset too. So please keep those things in mind. I am in my comfy wear now. I've taken the corset off. It is after 8 p.m. And I just want to like chill on the couch and like relax and bend in my middle and be a slob, which is not very corset friendly. So that's why I've taken off. I did wear the corset for about, what is that, like 10 and a half hours? So yeah, I thought I would give you my final thoughts. Again, I just want to make the disclaimer that this is just a day where I wore a corset for the whole day. It is not necessarily the most ideal conditions for wearing a corset. I would have loved to have made this video if I was like going out and doing things and standing up and like wearing a nice outfit, etc. But that's not the reality of my life at the moment. And I've been wanting to make this video for ages, so I thought I was just gonna get on with it and do it. But yeah, I would say wearing a corset is not comfortable when you're trying to like, you know, lie on the couch or like chill out or have a massive Sunday lunch. However, you know, like maybe you guys will find yourself in that situation. I don't know. But yeah, like I know some of you will probably say like, oh, you like didn't put yourself in the right situation. But this video is not about criticizing corset wearing. I can tell from my experiences of wearing a corset that the more I wear it, the more comfortable it's going to get, largely because the more I wear the corset, the more the corset loosens up and molds to my body, as it did during the seasoning process. And the more I will get used to wearing a corset. Like, realistically, your organs do shift around. It does move your rib cage and stuff up whilst you're wearing it. And I'm not getting into whether these things are good or bad. I know there is so many opinions out there about corsets and whether they're good or bad for their health. I have done a lot of research into it, and I've watched a lot of videos by members of the vintage community who know way more about this than me. And it does sound like an awful lot of the health concerns surrounding corsets are based on very little evidence and research. I'm personally not particularly worried about wearing a corset. For comfort factor, I wouldn't wear it every day. I'm not someone who's about to start wearing a corset every day, but that is just a personal choice. I'm not about to tell anybody else what to do. It is not my place to do that. First of all, you can do whatever you want. And secondly, I'm not a medical professional or by any means someone who knows much about corsets. So I have no real interest in trying to tell you guys an opinion on that factor. I do, however, really love wearing the corsets under my 1950s clothing, which day to day, like during COVID lockdown, I'm sitting in my gym gear an awful lot just because I'm at home being a slob. But when I leave the house, I dress vintage. I like to look a certain way, and I'm really into that like 1950s waspy look. So corsets really suit me. I like the shape better than a waspy gives me. I have got quite a booty for a small girl, but I'm not really an hourglass shape. Very few people are actually the shape of like the new look style standard. I mean, it's very like constructed female image, but I just really like the shape that particularly the Jolie Short Corset from Glamorous Corset gives me in relation to achieving that look. So I definitely do wear the corsets when I'm out and about. Generally, I wouldn't wear it to work. When I'm working, I just like to be comfortable. I mean, it would depend on my job. Maybe if I was still working in retail, I would definitely wear it to like events where I'm working like VIP and I have to look glamorous and beautiful. But when I'm working like my shitty receptionist hostessing jobs, it's not shitty, I actually like the job. I don't feel like I need to look glamorous. I just want to be as comfortable as possible while looking professional. I can't see myself wearing a corset in that situation, especially as those days are very, very long. And it does, like for me, it did get more uncomfortable throughout the day wearing the corset. That is just the reality of it. I'm not going to pretend that wearing a corset is as comfortable as not wearing a corset. I don't think it's as uncomfortable as a lot of people try to imply it is, like actresses and stuff in movies who are always talking about how they couldn't breathe and they nearly passed out and all this stuff. It just sounds like they have poorly fitted corsets. I don't know, you know, whatever, but I do think that's very over dramatized. I just wouldn't wear a corset for long hours all day every day because I don't care enough about the aesthetic in certain situations for me to make myself more uncomfortable when I could just not be wearing a corset, if that makes sense. However, in my vintage, definitely going the corset route, not necessarily for 40s looks, but definitely for 50s looks and early 60s. I think it just looks so good. I would say, I think there is no point, like for me, I loosened the corset after lunch. I think it seems to me that if you're in pain and it's uncomfortable, I don't think that's the point of wearing a corset. Like it should be comfortable from everything that I've heard from Glamorous Corset and from other people in the corset wearing community. You know, you should listen to your body during the process of wearing the corset and lacing the corset and work together with it. So you shouldn't be horribly uncomfortable or in pain. You can loosen the corset. Like, I think this idea that you have to lace yourself in until it's closed, like we're all kind of striving to get the smallest waist possible. But, you know, I still had a gorgeous shape with the corset on, even when it was looser. I was comfortable. And also the corset is very supportive. Like right now I'm being really slovenly and like curving my back when I sit, which is really not good for me. When I wore the corset, I was sitting up nice and straight, which is good for my spine. So I think there is definitely some positives there. And as I said, I think the more that I wear it, the better it will get. So yeah, this is a bit all over the place, but I'm kind of having lots of thoughts coming at once and it's a reaction video, so it's kind of random. There's definitely situations I would wear a corset and I wouldn't shy away from wearing it for a whole day if there was the purpose to do so. Am I going to become someone that's waist training and wearing a corset every day? No, I'm not particularly worried about that. Like I can achieve the look when I wear the corset, if that makes sense. So I don't feel the need to wear it every day in the hope that maybe it's going to permanently change my body. I'm quite happy with my body when I'm in a sloppy mode, like even though I never go to the gym anymore and I have dimples and lumps and extra bits popping up all over the place during COVID time. I'm actually okay with it. So yeah. But overall, I'm very pleased with the corsets and I'm really enjoying the process of learning about them. It has made me go and read and research and understand a lot more about corset wearing. And I've realized how I've heard a lot more negativity and misinformation than I even realized. There is a ton of misinformation out there, and that is the stuff that I heard, you know, as someone who wasn't really looking for information, that's the information I heard. So, you know, if you've got a bad perspective on corsets, maybe go and do some research from people who really know what they're talking about, who are corset specialists, and find out what they have to say about it. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. And any suggestions for future videos, I always love hearing them. And I do take a lot of your suggestions and turn them into videos. In fact, these days, most of the time, the videos I make are suggestions. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. There's a link down below. I do extra monthly content, and there is extra tips and tricks, curated vintage finds, crafty projects. There's tons of stuff over there to check out. So if you'd like to become a Patreon, do go and see what that's all about. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.